Social awareness doesn't require a course certificate. Sometimes it looks like witnessing someone's grief. Hi, I'm Vatsala Shukla from Karmic Coaching. This is something I learned on a Sunday from a conversation with a new florist. Everything was running an hour behind schedule on Sunday. The joys of snoozing the alarm clock and then clocked in 2 extra hours of sleep. I justified this indulgence, telling myself my body needed that extra rest. At least that's what my mother used to tell me when I'd get angry with myself for oversleeping. I remember her more on Sundays. Maybe it's the lack of activity to keep me busy, or the day when I'm carrying out the ritual of taking the pet for a ride while doing some flower and fruit shopping. That afternoon, my florist had already gone home for siesta, but the florist next to him was still there. I decided to make my purchase from him. He immediately mentioned that I loved carnations. Interesting, I thought. He had been observing my purchases on Sundays. I told him I preferred Rajnigandha, but they were drying up within 2 days due to the heat. I was his last customer for the afternoon before he closed till evening, and we had time to talk. He had fresh stock of Rajnigandha and promised me that they wouldn't dry that quickly. So I told him the purpose was to place them near the photo of my mother since I didn't want to put a garland of flowers instead. It made her death a reality that I was not yet ready to accept, and closure still eluded me. I was thinking about the 5 stages of grief when he gently inquired about my mother and what had happened. One thing led to another, and we started talking about his grandmother who had passed away a few weeks earlier. Similar stories of losing a loved one despite doing everything possible, and similar pain shared between two strangers. He knew Coco Jr. was my mother's pet and observed how much she must be missing her. So I shared the reason for bringing her in the car and the ritual of flower and fruit shopping. In turn, he told me about the dog he rescued after the abandoned by an owner and how the pet called Raja helped him in the evenings to guard his flowers. He described how bewildered Raja had been when he was found and what all he and his wife did to reassure the dog that he was safe. Grief is a deeply personal and isolating experience, and having witnessed validates the emotions involved. According to the grief expert David Kessler, your grief needs to be seen, heard, and felt in order to heal. Grief must be witnessed because healing comes from having one's pain acknowledged and shared, not from trying to fix it or minimize it. As I drove away, I realized something important. Social awareness isn't always about reading a room, influencing stakeholders, or navigating workplace dynamics. Sometimes it's recognizing when another human being needs their grief to be seen. So, so that conversation left me wondering, what helps people most when they're grieving? I shared the story on LinkedIn and ran a poll to find the answer from a broader audience and perspective. Here's what people said. 40% said, listen and don't try to fix it. 0% said, practical support with daily tasks. 20% said, sharing similar experiences. And 40% marked it as other and then gave their explanation. The results are not really about grief alone. They reveal how people experience support, emotional safety, and human connection. That aligns surprisingly well with leadership identity and executive presence. Three themes emerged from the poll results. First, presence mattered more than solutions. 40% chose listening without trying to fix it. That suggests people often experience support as being witnessed rather than being managed. There is a leadership connection. In workplaces, leaders are often rewarded for speed, action, and problem solving. But difficult moments like loss, change, burnout, disappointment, and uncertainty require a different capability. They require staying present, tolerating emotion, resisting premature solutions, and allowing people to process. That is executive presence in action, remaining grounded enough that others feel safe to think and speak. Secondly, the Commons rejected support scripts. The Commons introduced nuance. Support depends on the person and type of loss. Checking in matters more than making open ended offers. Comparison and pressure to move on feels invalidating. Leadership needs to understand that people don't experience care as a standard process. This mirrors what happens at work. Not everyone wants public recognition, not everyone wants advice, and not everyone processes setbacks verbally. Identity based leadership asks, who is this person and what do they need right now? And not, what would I want in their position? Third, action and space are not opposites. One comment said, I action, I stay in touch and check in occasionally. That is interesting insight because practical support scored 0%, yet action still appeared in the comments. My interpretation is that people may not define support as completing tasks. They may define it as noticing, following through, and staying connected. The leadership connection is that executive presence isn't passive empathy, it is visible steadiness. It's, I see this is difficult, I won't rush you, and I won't disappear. The comments added something even more powerful. Support isn't one size fits all. Some people want to talk while others want quiet, and some simply want you to stay connected without pressure. It made me think again about leadership. Many leaders feel pressure to have answers, but in difficult moments, presence can matter more than performance. Executive presence isn't always speaking. Sometimes it's staying steady, noticing signals, resisting comparison, checking in consistently, and allowing people to process in their own way. Whether in grief, change, or challenge, people rarely remember perfect words. They remember how safe they felt to be human. As someone who works in leadership, identity, and executive presence, I see this pattern often beyond grief too. Many of us feel pressure to solve, advise, or improve difficult situations quickly. But sometimes people don't need fixing. They need space, they need to feel seen, and they need to feel someone who can stay present without rushing the process. That's true in grief and often true in leadership. So perhaps the question becomes, when someone around us is struggling, can we notice what they need instead of assuming? Social awareness is one of the most underrated skills. The people who build trust, strengthen relationships, and lead with greater influence are often the ones who notice what others miss. If social awareness is an area you'd like to strengthen, I've created a resource to help. It's the Executive Social Awareness Starter Pack. Inside, you'll discover practical tools and insights to help you read workplace dynamics more effectively, improve your emotional intelligence, build stronger professional relationships, recognize verbal and non-verbal cues others may miss, increase your leadership impact through greater awareness. I'm sharing the link to that resource in the description. Just remember that social awareness starts with paying attention, and sometimes the most powerful leadership lessons arrive in the most unexpected places. This is Vatsala Shukla signing off. See you again soon.